here that is downright cold, so we're going to open the place up. It's below 100. They open the roof up here at Chase Field in Phoenix, Arizona, where the Dodgers and D-backs are ready to begin a 4-game series, and Dave Roberts is ready to send his offense out there. Chase Utley will lead things off, and then it's Corey Seager hitting second. Justin Turner, the only batter that will come up right-handed tonight. Adrian Gonzalez hits cleanup. Grandal, switch hitter. And then 4 lefties down in the bottom part of the order for Dave Roberts and the Dodgers. And they're facing off with Archie Bradley, who's 24 years old, out of Oklahoma. Since the start of August, his earned run average is above 7. And Nomar is coming off his shortest outing of the season. Lasted only 3 innings on Saturday against the Giants.
Yeah, but the last time he faced the Dodgers was here at Chase Field on July 16th. And there he went 6 innings and only allowing 1 run. He comes at you with a fastball that has some tails away from lefties into righties. He's got a good spike curveball that he throws about 24% of the time, and he also features an occasional changeup.
And his first pitch of the day to Chase Utley misses low, and off we go.
Going to be an awful lot of contact today for the Dodgers, but they need to score some runs. Only 6 in these 6 games on this road trip, only 16 runs, 2 shutouts, and they're going to need to score in this ballpark.
1-1. Our closed captioning brought to you by Shumash. Archie Bradley to Chase Utley with a 1-1. And a curveball bang foul. It's 1-2.
This Arizona team has scored 34 runs in their last 3 games. And it wasn't just in one game. The games were 11, 11, and 12 runs. So they spread it out almost perfectly evenly.
Utley back up the middle, and he begins this series with a base hit. Just like he started the series in New York. Eventually came around to score the Dodgers' first run of that series.
Well, Chase Utley leading off the game. He also, first of all, was waiting to see if he'd find the strike zone, so he took a strike, then fouled one off, and then goes to his 2-strike approach and takes it right back up the middle.
And it brings up Corey Seager. 0 for 4 in the finale in New York yesterday. That snapped his 8-game hitting streak. Still in the top 5 in the National League with that .317 average. And he takes ball 1. Dodgers have won 8 of 11. Magic number sits at 13. And the magic number will drop with every Dodger win and every Giant loss. And when it hits 0, the Dodgers would have won a 4th consecutive division title. Bradley's 1-0. Strike 1.
Corey Seager's gone through so many different stages this year, coming into spring training, being announced as the starting shortstop for the Dodgers, starting the year there, and then getting into the season, being kind of average for his ability at the beginning, but then taking off and getting all the national hype, the possible Rookie of the Year award, and now in the MVP conversation. He has not changed, with everything swirling around him throughout the whole year.
1-2.
You say difficulty can expose character, so can success, and it's exposed his character in a big way as a very consistent and mature individual.
Still only 22 years old. And on his way to winning Rookie of the Year. Take strike 3. Bradley's first strikeout of the night, 1 away. Diamondbacks defense tonight is brought to you by Clamato, and in a season that has been a huge disappointment around here, Gene Segura has been one of the bright spots.
He really has. If you just look at his last couple of games, he's had 2 home runs in each of his last 2 games, and even on Wednesday, yesterday, he had 5 hits and 6 at-bats. So not only is he doing it defensively, taking charge up the middle, but he's been a huge part of their offense this year.
As Justin Turner has for the Dodgers. He had another game-winning RBI yesterday. The Top of the 9th inning, doubled against Dylan Betances to score Corey Seager and eventually scored himself in a 2-0 win. It was Turner's 27th go-ahead RBI this season, which puts him 3rd in the National League. Bradley's 1-0 is a strike. Turner, the only right-handed hitter in the Dodger lineup today. Left-handers much better success against Archie Bradley. Slugging percentage for left-handed hitters against Bradley more than 200 points better than it is for righties against Bradley. 1-2. Giants opening a series with the Cardinals tonight, a 4-game series, really important series. And for a moment, the Giants will take one eye off of the Dodgers and focus on that wild card race. Right now would be in against New York, but St. Louis a half game back for the second wild card spot. Bradley's 1-2, gets Turner, and back-to-back Ks here in the first.
Hitters show a lot of respect for Bradley's curveball, so it's really interesting because about 70% of his strikeouts come on his fastball. He'll establish the fact that he'll use his curveball, but a lot of times then tries to sneak that fastball like he has with Corey Seager and now Justin Turner.
And 70% of the time he throws the fastball, so it's not just in the 2 strikes, but the entire at bat.
Oh, with a man at first and 2 gone, here's Gonzalez. And Bradley's first pitch to him is cut on and miss at 94. He has struck Gonzalez out 4 times in their 7 all-time meetings. Former 7th overall pick in the draft. Signed with the D-backs instead of going to Oklahoma to play football for Bob Stoops. 0-2.
Well, you talk about the strikeouts for Archie Bradley. He came into today's game with 113 strikeouts, which is 5th in the NL among rookie pitchers for this year. Number 1 on that list is Kenta Maeda with 159.
And all the rookies that are 22 and 23 years old roll their eyes and say, Kenta has a decade of pro experience under his belt. And he winds up striking out 2, 3, and 4 in the order after Utley's leadoff single. Rich Hill has been so good in a Dodger uniform, and he takes the ball for the 4th time for LA after this. Here is his starting lineup. Offense red hot. In fact, set a franchise record in a 3-game series against Colorado by scoring 34 runs in the 3 games. Segura leads it off. Then it's Owings at short. Goldschmidt hits third. In the middle of the order, Tomas, Drury, Jensen, Haniger, Gosowicz, and Bradley down to the bottom third. Of course, against Rich Hill, who in 3 starts with the Dodgers has 3 wins and 19 shutout innings. And famously, Saturday at Miami, the 7 perfect innings. He's dealing with 2 different blisters, and a lot of these will have plenty more on that as the night goes on. One of the blisters is bothered when he throws a curveball, and the other one flares up with fastballs. In that attempt at a perfect game, the training staff was concerned about a recurrence of the fastball blister, and Dave Roberts, keeping the big picture in mind, took him out after the 7 perfect innings. He starts his next start with ball 1 to Gene Segura. Segura has led off each of the last 2 games with a home run. First player in franchise history to do that. 1-1.
It's a challenge for Rich Hill to come into this ballpark and have those great memories behind you when he attacked the Marlins. He just wants to get right back on the beam. That feeling of perfection, you want to find it again. You've had a side work in between. You've had so many different meals and sleeps, but when you step on the mound now and a big league hitter steps in for real again, you want to find that feeling. If he happens to lose that feeling today, that'll be when he's going to have to make the mental adjustment. Just like a guy who was throwing a perfect game currently would have to make an adjustment to move into the stretch, because he hadn't been in a stretch in a long time. And Diamondbacks might be sitting on the curveball that he throws over 50%, but right there gets him with the heater.
Right from the first batter. Did you see Rich Hill's reaction too? Just the excitement of punching him out. We know he goes out. I mean, he is so soft-spoken. He is such just a gentleman, and when he's on the mound, it is on.
Chris Owings cracks one back to him. He knocks it down and throws him out. And Rich Hill, so demonstrative. Demonstrative after he took that ball off of the leg. And now the infield comes in to check on him as we take a look at our Clamato defense with Andre Ethier started in left field. The second time that he's done that since returning from the DL.
Well, you know, the Dodgers and Dave Roberts really want to give Andre Ethier an opportunity to get some rhythm, get back out there, because they're still trying to figure out, one, they first have to get to the postseason first and foremost, and second, thinking about that lineup as we have a look at that comebacker off Rich Hill and see where it hit him.
Left foot.
Paul Goldschmidt looks at strike 1.
If you're going to have anything wrong with your legs as a pitcher, you want it to be your back leg.
Got him like in the ankle.
The front leg takes all the pressure as you come down to be aggressive. You can brace with that back leg on top of the rubber as you fall down the hill.
We know Clayton Kershaw has that fabulous earned run average, 181. Rich Hill's 180. And if you put the innings minimum to where those guys both qualify, Rich Hill has the best earned run average in baseball. Clayton Kershaw a touch behind him. And your potential 1-2 heading into October. Goldschmidt takes strike 3, and Rich Hill just keeps on trucking. Down in order go the D-backs in the first. Dodgers and D-backs scoreless after an inning. Final series between the teams this season, and Yasmani Grandal to start the second against Archie Bradley, who drops in a breaking ball for strike one. 1-2-3 went the Diamondbacks in the first against Rich Hill. Inside, 1-1. Dodgers are 10-5 against Arizona this season, and as Nomar told you off of the top, the dominance really goes back a few years. 2-1. Since the start of the 2014 season, the Dodgers are 38-15 against Arizona. That's the best record for any team in baseball against a single opponent. He beats the shift down the left field line. And Grandal holds the brakes as Jensen fires it in. And a leadoff single for Yasmani.
Yasmani does a good job with this ball going the other way with the breaking ball, not pulling off of it and hitting it down the line. And as you were talking about how they've done against this Arizona Diamondbacks, it's also really important for the Dodgers. You know, this third city of this road trip, you can be a little fatigued coming from New York, but they can't keep their, they got to keep their foot on the gas here. They can't let up. They can't just assume that, oh, we've done well against them and then we can just ease up. No, this is an opportunity to try to continue to increase that lead, to get that magic number down. This is when you really talk to each other, to really pump each other up, to get you up for this game.
Bradley to Reddick with a 1-0 pitch. Outside 2-0. You know, really, you look at this series here, 4 between the Dodgers and the Diamondbacks. We talked about what the Giants have going on against St. Louis, 4 against the Cardinals this weekend. The Dodgers right now with a 5-game lead. On paper, you would think that that lead would expand this weekend, heading into the 3-game series, head-to-head with San Francisco next week. Here's a 2-0, and there's ball 3. So that said, in a world that is not even perfect, in a world that on paper looks likely, that 3-game series next week against San Francisco could be an opportunity for the Dodgers to finish San Francisco off.
I think these 4 games set the table for that. The most comforting thing going into the San Francisco series would be to have a lead big enough that if they swept you, you're still ahead. And from there, then you can feel like going into that series, you're almost playing with house money, so to say. And that will be the way you can be relaxed, concentrating, and making the decisions you want to make if you're Dave Roberts.
And from the Giants standpoint, the way they have to look at that is hold serve this weekend and take comfort in knowing that you have 6 head-to-head meetings with LA left. 2 on, nobody out. Something brewing here in the second, and the hometown product, Andre Ethier, climbs in.
Well, the Giants have moved from looking at just the Dodgers chasing them to looking at a few teams now. Now they don't want to be caught by somebody else in the wild card.
Yeah, from the best record in baseball in the first half to the worst record in baseball in the second half. And from worrying about how soon they might clinch the division to worrying about are they going to win the division to now having it be a real conversation, are they going to make the playoffs? With a blurry wild card picture right now. 2-0. Ethier, the Phoenix native, and played his college ball at Arizona State. 1-0 for 4 yesterday, and Dave Roberts saying before the game today that Andre's earned the right to string together a few games here, get into a bit of rhythm, make his case for a spot on that postseason roster. Waits on a 2-0 and takes strike 1. Bradley's 2-1. is fouled off, 2-2.
I think it's fantastic that Dave Roberts and the front office are getting Andre Ethier a chance to earn a spot on that postseason roster. Andre has put in a lot of work to get back actually sooner rather than later with this leg injury. You'd think, oh my gosh, he should have been back a long time ago, but so many different hurdles that creeped up on him during the rehab where it just wouldn't heal.
And he strikes out swinging. Bradley gets him with a big breaker, his 4th K, and 1 out in the 2nd.
Well, we talked about his spike curveball. We've seen in that 1st inning where he was getting the strikeouts on fastballs. He got Corey Seager looking. He got both Turner and Gonzalez swinging at the fastball. And here he gets him swinging on a breaking ball. It looks like some of the hitters so far are almost like overthinking too much in there, trying to figure out, trying to guess.
Jock Peterson, is that a new face guard?
It sure is.
I've seen him wear that. Strike 1.
Usually you see this on somebody adding this after they've been hit. And all of a sudden it's just protection on a past injury or something about just feeling comfort.
Now than 2. He's homered twice against Bradley, so he's plenty comfortable against him. First 2 reached in this inning. They're still at 1st and 2nd with 1 out. Bradley's 0-2. And back-to-back strikeouts. 2 out.
Pitcher number 44, Rich Hill.
Makes a good pitch, good curveball that started off looking like a fastball. You see Jock Peterson upset. Then you also had home plate umpires say something to Jock Peterson as he was walking away, Ron Kolpa. Because I know Jock Peterson wasn't too pleased about a couple of strikes before that were called on him.
Chill with an aggressive cut, dumps it back for a strike.
We're not just pitchers, Joe.
You sense it that
got a
in my
few
tone?
that can hit. As they throw the 0 for 7 up.
Yeah, right.
graphic up for the season.
Thank you, graphics department, for confirming my tone. All 5 outs recorded have been strikeouts for Bradley. Make it 6. Out of the bottom of the 2nd in Arizona at no score.
Already throwing 20 scoreless innings as a member of the Los Angeles Dodgers. Of course, the big story this year with Rich Hill is that recurring blister situation. And make no mistake about it, guys, the Dodgers organization is very mindful of what's going on with Hill. Dave Roberts telling us earlier today that they will be checking Rich Hill's blister in that sensitive area, the tenderness and the heat area, after every single inning, making sure that they're monitoring it as far as how it looks, how it feels, so on and so forth. So it may very well be out of Rich Hill's control, but they're keeping a watchful eye on that very important blister on a very important hand.
Great stuff, Alana. We talked about it earlier, but it's really two separate spots, and they come from the pressure points on two different pitches.
One on his fastball and one on his curveball, and I could say that he is not having any pain or having any issues, because what thing you do in your warm-ups, you don't take all your warm-ups if you're having blister issues. If you're having something creep up, a little hot spot, you'll only throw a couple fastballs, maybe a breaking ball, and then say, hey, throw it down. That's enough. But if you're feeling good, he took his full 8 warm-ups and looks like they were very aggressive and no tenderness.
He did only 9 pitches to retire the Diamondbacks inside, and Diamondbacks in order in the first. And faces Yasmani Tomas to begin the second. Wraps around the plate for ball 1. Tomas out of Cuba and has had a really good last couple of months. In his second major league season. 1-1.
He's on a 7-game hit streak right now, hitting .406 during that 7-game hit streak. A couple of home runs and 9 RBIs over those last 7 games.
When the Dodgers were last in here in mid-July, he was on about a 2-month-long slump. But since then, he's been as powerful of a hitter as there is in the National League. Only Jed Jerko of the St. Louis Cardinals has hit more home runs than Yasmani Tomas over the last nearly 2 months. So finally living up to that huge contract, a club record contract that he signed. $6 years, $68.5 million. One of the keys in turning it around was trying to mimic his road daily schedule while here at home, because the road numbers were way better than his numbers at Chase Field, which is just backwards because this is a hitter's paradise. Hill misses away 2-2, and he admitted that the issue was the amount of downtime you have at home between batting practice and the start of the game, because BP is taken by the home team first. So he's done all he can between BP and the game to stay alert, stay awake. Smacks one to second. Utley knocks it down. He throws him out.
I thought you were going to say no home cooking, and he eats out at restaurants here.
Right. He stays at a hotel.
He stays at a hotel, doesn't have an apartment. Yeah. Gets a rental car.
Yeah, right. 4 up and 4 down for Hill, and here's Drury. Well, the anniversary of Rich Hill's first major league start in 6 years was Tuesday this week. Ball 1 on Drury. Such an incredible story. Started out with the Chicago Cubs. 1-1. And had a few good years there, but started to hit some injury problems, shoulder surgery, then Tommy John surgery. And in the process moved from the starting rotation into the bullpen, bouncing from team to team. This is 1-1. Sidearms it in there for strike 2. But he's reinvented himself again. He wanted to start again. Last year he was in the Nationals minor league system as a reliever. They released him. So he went back home to Massachusetts and worked out with his old American Legion team. Sweeps it in there for strike 3 on a befuddled Drury. 2 gone.
I mean, what a great pitch right there, because you've been throwing everything on top. and then you drop down the pitch before with a fastball at a sidearm angle, and you sneak it in. You sneak it in with authority, and then you drop down again. And as a hitter, you're thinking, okay, it's going to possibly be a fastball again because you drop down. Even if I pick up on that, and then you throw the curveball from the same angle, and you freeze him.
That's what he was throwing everything from when he was relieving the last few years. He turned himself into a side armor.
Well, it gives him better advantage against the left-handed hitters when you're coming out of the pen. That's what the manager's really looking your lefties for first and foremost. Can you get the left-handers out? Just watching Rich Hill and thinking about all the athleticism it takes to do what he's doing right now. The sidearm, the different arm angles, to spin the ball, to throw so many strikes with his curveball. Battled a lot of issues throughout his career with shoulder surgery, Tommy John surgery to the elbow. One crisis after another.
1 ball and 2 strikes on Kyle Jensen. Hill comes back home. 2-2.
He's crafty out there too. He's wiggling his glove like he's digging in for a curveball, and then he throws a sidearm fastball, changing the pace between deliveries and changing the arm angle. He is locked into the strategy of this game.
That ball is crushed to deep center field, and Jensen has gone deep. The first run allowed by Rich Hill in a Dodger uniform, and the D-backs lead 1-0.
We were one batter away from a combined perfect game right there. Rich Hill went 7 perfect in against the Marlins, and now he's down to 1 out of doing a combined perfect game, and that fastball right there in the middle of the plate shows you how good he's been to finally give up a run and a hit.
And it brings up Mitch Haniger, who takes a strike. Jensen's second career home run, just made his major league debut a couple of weeks ago. Haniger, another guy that is new to the big leagues. Was called up in mid-August. The Diamondbacks minor league player of the year. Just misses, ball 1.
You saw Yasmani hold that ball there for a little while. He was expecting for it to be called a strike and didn't get the call.
Oh, a frisbee pitch drifts in there for strike 3. And Hill responds nicely to the solo shot from Jensen. 4 Ks through 2. on Saturday, September 24th. 50,000 limited edition commemorative coins will be distributed in Vin Scully's honor. Get a certificate with it, solid bronze coin. They're individually numbered. For more information, you go to Dodgers.com/LALovesVin as we honor Vin Scully down the stretch here in his final season. The final stretch of his final season. Al Jensen's home run off Rich Hill has the Diamondbacks in front as we begin the third. Joe, Nomar, Oral, Olana, and Chase Utley to start things off against Bradley. Singled against him to start the game and was left at first. Dodgers have had the leadoff man on both innings. Last inning, the first two on, but unable to capitalize. And another base hit for Utley. Came into the game, guys, 1 for his last 25, and the Dodgers need him better than that. So this is a good sign.
Well, it's a good sign for Chase Utley, but for the Dodgers, they need to get something going here. And this is the third inning of the game, and this is the third time they've had their leadoff batter get on base. And the last two times, unable to score. I look at that last inning in the second. You see 0 for 3 at runners in scoring position, and it was just 0 for 3 in just one inning. It'd be nice to pick up Rich Hill here and at least try to get one on the board for him.
Seager struck out looking his first time. Attacks the first pitch and fouls it off. Fun experience for Seager this week at Yankee Stadium. Both of his parents are from New York and were Yankee fans, so Corey grew up a Yankee fan in North Carolina and a Derek Jeter admirer. So what a special thing for him to get to stand right where Jeter did at short at Yankee Stadium. Waits on this 0-1, takes it low and in. That's a missile to right center. Top spinning into the glove of Tomas. Utley holding at second. Back-to-back singles to begin the third.
When that ball was hit, Chase's head was on a swivel the entire time. He was looking at the ball. He was trying to see. He was reading the right fielder to see the angle he was getting to that ball, because he was thinking about trying to get to third, get that extra base. You see his head over there peeking, and he even takes a hard turn to draw the throw to see even if a possible overthrow to get to third. There was just no way to go because that ball was hit so well by Corey Seager.
How about the sound off of the bat on that one? Justin Turner now. Struck out on a fastball his first time. All 6 outs recorded by Bradley have been strikeouts. Turner on the ground is short, could be 2. There's 1 and 2.
First baseman, Adrian Gonzalez.
So far in this game, Bradley has come up with the big pitch when he's needed. Look at that inning in the second when he had the first 2 guys get on base, first and second, and he's able to strike out the side after that. And here he is, first and second this inning, and gets the ground ball double play.
And now Gonzalez facing a shift with a man at third and 2 gone. He fouls it off. It's interesting the teams rarely anymore pitch to the overshift. You've got him shifted to pull, yet Gosewich clearly wanted that ball down and away.
They're trying to say that the hitter's ego is going to hit the ball still into the shift. They're not going to give in. Adrian tried to.
Off the end of the bat to Drury at third, bringing this third inning to a close, and the Dodgers with a few wasted opportunities early on. Shift, but hit it at the lone man on the left side of the infield. And the Dodgers, despite having the first 2 men on each of the last 2 innings, the leadoff man on all 3 innings, still empty-handed. Eight, 9, and 1 for the Diamondbacks in the 3rd inning. Tuffy Gosuish leads it off against Rich Hill. A lone blemish against Hill as a Dodger in 3+ starts. The solo homer from Kyle Jensen last inning. When he finishes time, finish his run with the team to begin his time with the team at 20 2/3 without allowing a run. The only longer stretch for a pitcher scoreless inning streak to begin a time with a team over the last 4 decades actually happened earlier this year. Jordan Zimmerman of the Detroit Tigers, his first 24 1/3 without allowing a run. And again, Hill was 20 2/3. Gosuish starts this inning with a single.
And I'm sure fans back home are also looking to see if he can go, say, 9 innings, being perfect, retiring all the batters after going 7 over there in Miami and coming in this. And if you're wondering, the longest streak of consecutive batters retired, you can go to Yusmeiro Petit. Back in 2014 with the Giants, he had 46. Some of them were as a starter and some as a reliever.
Wow.
And then second behind him is Mark Burley. Back in 2009, he had 45, and those were all as a starter.
So that was a perfect game, and then a near perfect game. Bradley squares and lays it down. Hill's got it. Lanced at second through to first.
Usually on that play, if you look before you throw, you're not going to have enough time. It's usually you have to have the clock as the ball is coming to you to know exactly where you're going because of the speed of the bump. So if Rich Hill goes immediately, he's out. But since he went for the gathering of information before he throws, he ends up throwing first.
Second time through the order. Here's Gene Segura. Foul tip for strike 1. Segura with 182 hits to lead the National League in his first season in a Diamondbacks uniform. What's more remarkable about that is the fact that over the last 3 years, this guy had the lowest OPS of any qualified hitter in baseball. Here's Hill's 0-1. And that's off 1 ball and 1 strike. Segura this offseason went home to the Dominican Republic and totally overhauled his swing. Changed his setup, changed the actual swing. Worked on it every day for 3 months at home. Robinson Cano was there with him working on it. Came back a different guy. Hill's 1-1. Is a breaking ball pounded to Turner. Looks the runner back to the bag and throws Segura out. Two gone for Chris Owings. Had a ground ball back to the mound his first time. Hill knocked it down with his foot and threw him out. Strike 1. Some kind of movement on that breaking ball.
He learned that 12-6 curveball when he was in high school. And his brother Lloyd said, I want you to think about throwing it like it's going over a barrel. Put a barrel out in front of you, and I only want it to be within the barrel, and I want it to go straight down.
Line drive, base hit to center. Gosuish headed for the plate on a 2-out RBI single from Chris Owings, and the Diamondbacks lead 2-0.
looked like Rich Hill tried to go with a little deception. He had a little pause in his windup before that delivery in the fastball. So Yasmani wanting that fastball in the outer half, and it just gets over the middle of the plate. And Owens is there able to square it up. Same thing happened on the fastball with the home run to Jensen. Wanted it away, went right down the middle, and he squared it up.
So both runs scoring for Arizona with 2 outs, and now he has to face Goldschmidt with a man on. Whips a fastball wide, ball 1. Goldschmidt struck out looking his first time. And on this 1-0, he looks and takes a strike. Paul Goldschmidt, one of the best hitters in baseball. All-star for the 4th consecutive season. Been runner-up for MVP 2 of the last 3 years. Coming inside on him on this 1-1 pitch. He's got a toss to first.
We'll see if Yasmani's target was to set up Goldschmidt, knowing that Rich Hill was going to go to first base. Let him have a glance at me sitting underneath his hands here, but maybe this signal we're going away.
You've done this before, huh? 1-2.
You can't set up a dummy, though. You have to know the guys that are trying to think along with you, that are smart hitters. And you have to give them some information, and sometimes you want to go opposite. The guys that just are up there in the batter's box, see ball, hit ball kind of guys that don't really make adjustments, don't really worry about setting them up. But the guys like Goldie, you got a chance to set them up. They're thinking along with you.
On 1-2, went to the curveball, and it's bounced to Seager at short. Flips on to Utley to retire the side. Diamondbacks get one more, and a 2-out single from Owens, and after 3, it's 2-0. By Jack in the Box. Taste the all-new Jack's Brewhouse Bacon Burger today at Jack in the Box. Limited time only at participating restaurants. Vin Scully, Joe Garagiola passed away this spring. Those two called the 1988 World Series together. As Yasmani Grandal takes strike 1 from Archie Bradley. We're in the Joe Garagiola press box here at Chase Field. Long broadcasting career, included his final years spent here as a D-backs broadcaster.
Kirk Gibson and I, when we were in the TV room in Dodger Stadium during the first game of the '88 World Series, Those two are going over the possible pinch hitters for the 9th for the Dodgers. And that's what inspired Kirk to go get some ice and try and ice down the 2 pulled hamstrings to numb enough to hit. It irritated him a little bit when they said he's not available.
Comes in 0-2 to Grandal. It's up, ball 1.
So they can take credit.
Vince Scully.
It was us. It was Vince Scully. Yeah.
He jokingly says that it's his best contribution. Is upsetting Kirk Gibson to the point where he went and said, "I'll show him."
And then Bob Costas later on in the series in the pregame went over the Dodger lineup and said it was one of the weakest Dodger lineups to ever take the field in a World Series all time. Tommy Lasorda kind of overheard it, went into the locker room, turned all the TVs on full blast, and we listened to Costas analyze us. And that kind of inspired us too.
Grandal gets under it. Short right center field. Who wants it? Right fielder Tomas makes the catch.
So you didn't tell him thank you, though, for the inspiration?
No, but I think Tony La Russa was mad at him, the manager of the Oakland A's at the time.
That's true.
The guy that helped warm him up is now the Dodger clubhouse attendant, Mitch Poole, a 25-year-old bat boy at the time. Gave him a soft toss. Here's Reddick. There's ball 1. Finn said you can't push off with the back leg. You can't land with the front leg. He will not see any action tonight for sure. That's what Gibby heard. He said, "My, you know what."
Did a charity event about a month and a half ago where Kirk was on the dais, myself. Tommy was invited but couldn't make it. Dennis Eckersley, Tony La Russa, and Joe Torre and Billy Crystal hosted it, and it was to commemorate the home run.
Reddick to left, Jensen.
And I was just glad to be invited. It was an amazing night to have Dennis Eckersley sitting next to Kirk and going over that at bat, going over the series, listening to Tony La Russa talk about who was in the on deck circle and what they were thinking. Me explaining what I felt when the ball cleared the fence is about my only contribution. There's Tony in the blue shirt. And Dennis Eckersley was so gracious that night and gave Kirk all the credit in the world, of course, and Kirk was so gracious to him.
Here's Ethier, ball 1.
It was fun to hear them reminisce about that.
What did you feel when the ball went up?
Oh my gosh, I was jumping around like a little kid. I had goosebumps. Ridiculous. And then all of a sudden I went, oh my gosh, we're up 1-0 and I'm pitching tomorrow. Now I got different kind of pressure on me. I thought we were going to be down 0-1.
Turned out okay for you.
It turned out okay for everybody that year in LA. Anybody who's a Dodger fan, it was it's a lot of responsibility to know an organization has worked all year and a fan base has supported you all year, and then all of a sudden you've got a chance to win it all for them. When you stand on the mound, Nomar, you know, when you stand in the batter's box, it's not only about you, it's about everybody who's put all the work in.
Ethier's first base hit of 2016 comes in his hometown of Phoenix. Auditioning for a postseason roster spot and shooting a base hit to left to keep the 4th inning going.
Whenever you start a season, opening day, everybody says, what are you feeling? You've got the anxiety, there's nerves, there's the excitement, and you're thinking, I just want to get the first ground ball or first ball hit to me, out catch in the outfield, that first strike of your pitcher. As a hitter, you want to get the first hit. Well, there it is for Andre. You're trying, I mean, realistically, here we are in September. There's the opening day first hit for Andre. Get it out of the way, now relax and go play.
Here's Jacques with 2 out. Fouls it off, strike 1.
And Dave Roberts, who's been an everyday player, has been a bench player, been a sporadic player, extended his career. He knew kind of how to bring him back along. We're going to give him some pinch hits, and then I'm going to schedule and look at the schedule. Where can I give him back-to-back starts? And so it's not just like, oh, let's look at the matchups. He's trying to really bring him along and give him his best shot for everything he's done for the Dodgers, to not be participating this season is hard.
Bounced into the shift. Jock running hard, but Segura throwing him out. You hear guys complain about missing the first month of the season, trying to play catch up when they come back in May. How about trying to catch up to everybody else when you come back in mid-September? Second and the third against Rich Hill, the first runs that he's allowed in his 22 innings in a Dodger uniform. He begins the fourth against Yasmani Tomas, middle third of the D-backs order. Here comes Hill's first one, and there is ball one. We started to talk about last year for Rich Hill, which is only one piece of his long major league journey. Started last season with the Nationals in their minor league system and was still a reliever, but his heart was set on starting. And they told him the only way that he was going to have an opportunity to start again, hypothetically, it's not like this was a sure thing, but was to go prove that he could do it. And the only place where that was a sure thing was independent baseball. So Rich Hill, who's now dominating in a pennant race for the Los Angeles Dodgers, pitched for the Long Island Ducks. He made 2 dominant starts there. The Red Sox signed him to a minor league deal last August. Here's his 2-1 to Tomas. Even then, it was no guarantee that he'd get a major league opportunity. Now, the Red Sox were totally out of it last year, and so it wasn't necessarily contingent on what they needed in the race. It was contingent on a spot opening in the rotation, and it did when starting pitcher Stephen Wright was hit in the head with an errant throw during batting practice and had to go down in the DL. The ball's caught by Gonzalez for the first out of the inning. So that's why Rich Hill got the call up to the major leagues and made his first major league start in 6 years. He'd make 3 more for Boston. Had an earned run average in that month of 155 and signed the 1-year, $6 million deal with Oakland, and is set to make a lot more than that this coming offseason.
He will be a free agent. You're talking about a guy who played for 24 different professional teams. He's on his 8th big league team, 36 years old, 15 years touring around as a pro. And you think, okay, he's probably won, you know, maybe 100 games, 80 games. He's won 38 games in the big leagues. And you know what? You think, oh, 15 years, he probably got a lot of those earlier. He's had 12 of them this year.
Right.
26 in the other 14 years.
1 and 2 on Drury.
Perseverance. Should be his middle name.
It's up and it's 2-2 on Drury, and we check in with Alana Rizzo.
Joe Orrill just mentioned perseverance when it comes to Rich Hill, and I've had an opportunity to talk to him a few times since becoming a Dodger, and he said really what's changed for him as far as the mental side of the game is trying as much as he possibly can to live in the moment. He's been through some personal stuff in his life where he's really focused on living in the moment, and all the guys that talk about him talk about his intensity and the absolute focus from pitch to pitch. He said you can't look forward, you can just be in the present. He's done a nice job with that this year.
It's one of the hardest things to do out there is to understand, oh, I'm on a roll, and enjoy the roll, or understand you're having difficulties and pressing. But to stay in the moment and be your best, that is a unbelievable tool if you can master it.
His 2-2 strikes out Drury for the second time. His fifth tonight. 2 out.
Doesn't mean you don't think about the past or what's just happened, but you have to use it to give you information for the next thing you're going to do, or to fuel you to be ready to do whatever you need to do.
And that was the attitude he had even when he got pulled out in his last start over there in Miami. I remember talking to him even the next day, and he was like, you know, Nomar, he goes, I really do live in that moment. Moments past, there was a, you know, I've moved on. It's over. He goes, and I'm fine with it. He goes, I understand. And he goes, really, it doesn't really bother me at all.
Facing Jensen, who homered against him his first time up, and buzzing him inside 1-1. I think part of the reason that it's seemingly blown past and you're not hearing about it much anymore is because of the way Rich Hill was in the aftermath of it, how respectful he was of his manager. 1-2.
And speaking of the manager and Rich Hill, that's not the first time Dave Roberts has been in the crosshairs this year of making tough decisions. And with us being around the ball club on a daily basis, after tough decisions, there's the public stance of, you know what, they handled it great, and boy, they're getting along, and you know, they're both on the same page. And then there's that whisper phase. You know what? There has been no whisper phase with Dave Roberts all year.
Lifts this one to left center, but got it off of the handle, and Peterson saunters under it to retire the side. Rich Hill works a 1-2-3 fourth, and we go to the fifth and see if the offense can get it cranked up. Sportsnet LA is brought to you by your Southern California Toyota dealers. Toyota's clearance countdown is on. Get the biggest savings of the year on the 2016 Prius family. And by Children's Hospital Los Angeles. We treat kids better. Sandy Koufax there with Rick Honeycutt and Clayton Kershaw. There's Clayton with much longer hair than he had in that picture from a few years back. Rich Hill leading off this inning against Archie Bradley, and somehow lays that bunt down, and you just hope that his fingers got out of the way of it. And Hill now shouting at Archie Bradley, and Dave Roberts races out to protect him. Both benches emptying now, and another page in the long history of Dodgers Diamondbacks. Here come both bullpens. It takes a lot for an organization that's only been around for a couple of decades to have a long history with anybody. Well, these two sides certainly do.
This is even taking the players by surprise. Charlie Culberson went up to Rich Hill and just said, "What happened?" I'm having a tough time reading it too. Rick Honeycutt looking at him like, "What happened?"
I wonder if it hit Rich Hill's hand too. I think when he squared around, if he's wondering if he says once he squared around, he saw that ball keep coming at him. See that? That's what he's mad at. He believes, I bet you Rich Hill.
They get a piece of the throwing hand.
I think Rich Hill's mad, thinking that when he squared around, right when he comes in and squares around, he's thinking that he tried to hit him.
Yeah, he's thinking he tried to throw it at him.
And that's why he's jawing at him.
Throw the ball over the plate.
Yep.
With some other expletives.
Yeah, that's what he's upset at. But you also saw where Tuffy Gosowicz was lined up. He wanted that ball in before it was even thrown.
Yeah.
So he was looking for an inside pitch.
And it's hard to sit up here and guess what the emotions might be, but got to imagine one of them, there's a little bit of fear. But the run that he has right now, with the issues that he's dealing with on that very sensitive left hand, had to be a moment of fear there as that pitch came in.
Well, there's fear and frustration and upset because, like, you know, that's what your instinct, that's what he's thinking. He's thinking, okay, I'm squaring around, and you throw it, you know, at me, or it comes at him. And he was almost more, it wasn't he was trying to bunt, it's almost like he was using the bat to protect himself from getting hit. And that's why he was frustrated at that, because that's what he was feeling. And you're in the moment and you're intense and you're fired up. That's what you believe.
Bradley to Utley with a 1-1, and it's 2-1.
But rarely do pitchers try to hit another pitcher in that moment going, okay, I might get it out.
Well, there's two ways to stop a guy from bunting, and it's usually on a suicide squeeze or a sacrifice situation. Not really a bunting for a hit with no outs. But Rich kind of exposed himself a little bit by like squaring slightly earlier, showing that he might be bunting. So I could see Archie Bradley kind of, I'm going to make sure I get this in because I'm going to make it tough to bunt, and I think he got it a little farther than he wanted. But you could see he squares and starts to drop the hands down into a bunting position slightly early. And so from a fastball in to a fastball really in, Rich took offense to it. It happens.
Good thing is the umpires handled it well, and Rich Hill is still in this game.
Rich Hill still has two hands.
Yeah, that too. A 3-2 to Chase Utley is down and away, and he's reached all 3 times. A couple of singles and now a walk.
Shortstop, Corey Seager.
Dave Roberts was sprinting out there to make sure Rich Hill didn't get himself into trouble and tossed out of this game.
And Rich Hill did a good job because he said his piece and then he started walking away toward the dugout. And
Corey Seager lifts one to center field. Haniger goes back on the track with room. Just got under it. 2 away.
Ball's carrying really well though, because Corey didn't get a lot of that one and hit it on a very high trajectory. Hit to the deepest part of the ballpark, that 413 in either gap, but the ball was moving out there in the outfield.
Two gone, and here's Turner in a 2-0 game in the 5th. This is the 3rd consecutive game for the Dodgers where they have gotten off to a slow offensive start. They were shut out on Tuesday. They were shut out through 8 innings yesterday. And they're shut out through 4 2/3 today. Knee-high strike. Turner to right center field. That's a base hit. And it splits the gap. That will put the Dodgers on the board. Justin Turner with an RBI double, scoring Utley from first, and it's 2-1.
Great at bat by Justin Turner, staying inside that ball, driving it the other way into right center gap. What I also love was watching Chase Utley here too. He was thinking he was going to score all the way. He doesn't know it's going in past all the way to the wall. He was thinking that he might even score if they do cut that off. That's what's in his head. He recognizes how important to try to get something on the board right now to get this offense going. Great play on both parts.
Second day in a row, it's a Justin Turner double to get the Dodgers scoring going. Now Gonzalez with a chance to tie it, taking a ball. And Utley immediately went and sat down next to Rich Hill. A couple of veterans talking over whatever went down here in the 5th. Bradley's 1-0. That's outside, ball 2.
I like it. I mean, I like it just the fire. I mean, obviously, I'm glad there's no punches thrown. There's nobody thrown out. You don't want to see anybody get into a brawl or anything like that. But, you know, they were jawing at each other. There's intensity. Your team's backing up your pitcher, Rich Hill. Everything's going out. Hopefully spark this offense. You haven't been able to score. You've had some opportunities to do so.
I like the fact that Bradley hits third next inning.
I was just going to say, in case you're wondering, and I know you are, Bradley's up third.
I'd be looking at it as soon as I went back to the bench if I'm Rich Hill.
Comes a 2-0. And Gonzalez checks his swing. No, he didn't. 2-1.
Old habits die hard for me. I look at that lineup a lot.
Rich Hill trying to move to 4-0 in 4 starts as a Dodger. Justin Turner has the Dodgers halfway back with his 2-out RBI double. Now Gonzalez up there trying to tie it for Dave Roberts.
Remember, Adrian hit with a man in scoring position who's on third with 2 outs, and he tried to shoot the gap over there in this shift. Breaking ball he able to stay back on. There's a big hole there still.
Fly ball down the left field line. Gents into the corner, still on the move. Not going to get there. 2-2.
Another breaking ball that Adrian waited so long that he hits it foul down the left field line. So he is trying to shoot the left side of the diamond, that's for sure. Not the trajectory he's looking for off the bat, but it is the direction he's looking for.
'79 RBIs, second only to that man. The 2-2. Gonzalez flies one to left center field. Jensen back on this one to the edge of the track to put it away. But the Dodgers get one back on Turner's 2-out double. Archie Bradley bats third after this. Baseball is brought to you by T-Mobile. Giants and Cardinals starting a critical series in San Francisco, and Hunter Pence has taken Adam Wainwright deep. So that gave the Giants a 2-0 lead. And just now, just a moment ago, the Cardinals did get on the board, so it's not 2-1. Cardinals getting a run against Johnny Cueto. Back here in the 5th, 2-1 here as well. Dodgers with that 5-game lead. They've won 8 of 11, and the magic number right now sits at 13. Rich Hill back to the mound. Bottom third of the order, Haniger, Gosuish, and Bradley. Ball 1. Between innings.
Well, knowing Bradley's coming up third, they just want to make sure they're all on the same page. Ron Cupola wants to know that Rich Hill doesn't have any intentions of retaliation, that it's all behind him. And Rich gave him a little smile as that conversation broke up and pretty much reassured everybody around that it looked like they're back to baseball.
Got in on him. Peterson back, still back, and you are right, it is carrying well. Always does, but like he completely jammed him, and it still went to deep center.
Yeah, but, you know, there are times, I remember those times when Kurt Schilling and Randy Johnson, when they were teammates here, they always wanted it close. Pitchers know the most. Everybody, you know, hitters know when the ball carries, whether in stadiums, whether it's open or closed more. But pitchers know, I think, more than hitters do, and they always wanted it closed. So a beautiful night like this, it's open. You also see kind of the windows that they have in the outfield.
Well, the windows are the key.
Yep, and those, and I think with all of that, it's having the tendency to carry more.
The breeze comes through the windows, hits the stands behind home plate between the baselines, and swirls back out.
Hailstorm Hershiser over here.
See, a pitcher would know. I told you a pitcher would know exactly why and all the reason. And
yeah, you got to study that stuff.
Yeah,
study the hitters, understand what part of the ballpark you want them to hit the ball, where you got the best chance for the ball to stay in the yard. In case you make a mistake, you don't make many. But.
Right.
Can't just give the hitter credit that he barreled it up and just crushed it on him.
No, it's because the windows are open.
Right, exactly.
The wind's blowing straight down right now.
So no excuses for a ball to leave the yard. One gone in the 5th inning. Another than 2 on Tuffy Gosuish. Archie Bradley due next. Gosuish singled his first time. That started the 3rd. He'd eventually score on Chris Owings' 2-out single. They want it up and get it there, but it's fouled off. Mentioned Randy Johnson and Kurt Schilling. There's a story about one of those 2 guys. Not official which one. It's rumored it could be either. But was so upset one night when the ball was really flying with the roof open. He came running off of the field, shouted into the dugout, shouted at the umpire, close that dang roof. So they pretended like a storm was coming and that they had to hurry up and close it, or there was no way they were going to get it closed in time to prevent getting the field soaked. And things blowing all over the place. It was urgent. They talked the home plate umpire into getting it closed just because one of those 2 guys, Randy Johnson or Kurt Schilling, wanted it. There was no storm coming.
That's just unfair. They also, I think, said that it's really dangerous to close the roof when the winds get up at a certain mile per hour.
Yep, you can't wait.
Got to close it now before the winds get here. Sounds like a lot of hot air.
Oh, well done. Gosuish making Hill work. It's from 66 pitches now. What is only Rich Hill's 6th start since May. He missed all of June with a groin injury. You kind of forget about that when you talk about the blister issues he had in July and August. But he's hardly pitched at all since May. Now the glass half full look at that is this is a really fresh arm going into the late portion of the season. Hill saying no to everything Grandal's putting down.
No 0-2 count. This is not only about what this pitch is, but what Rich was thinking about getting him out with down the road. Somebody might be thinking about getting him out right now, and the other guy might be thinking about getting him out a pitch or two from now.
On 0-2 upstairs, and the 9th pitch of the AB will be next.
Just missed on that one. I mean, that one was one of those that was just going to backdoor, come around, and almost catch the back of home plate. And at times, you know, as a hitter, you're going, that's a ball, but then in your back of your mind, like, did it catch the corner? And you're hoping that the umpire calls that a ball.
Oh, same thing. 3-2.
Remember, we're in Arizona, and a little harder to have your breaking ball break, and those are the ones that in Miami they were finishing and biting down there. A little thinner air here.
This one he got over, and Gosuish got around on it. It's foul.
Here in Colorado, you got to make some adjustments when you're breaking stuff.
This would be the 12th pitch of the at-bat to the 8-hitter Gosuish, who came into this game 1 for his last 25. Singled against Hill his first time, and now up there battling. 3-2. Got him. Ultimately found enough break on it to sit Gosuish down. His 6th K. And here comes Archie Bradley. We look at our Cardinals camp replay. Back to what went down in the top of this inning.
A bunt attempt by Rich Hill for a base hit. Wasn't too pleased with the fastball all the way between his legs so much, and they started to bark at each other, and now we have a rematch, but one's on the mound and one's at the plate.
And a curveball. Strike one. Oklahoma-born Archie Bradley was having none of Rich Hill shouting. This guy was headed to Oklahoma to play football. 0-2. And with him wondering if he's going to wear one.
Right here, yeah, is it the 0-2 fastball up and in, or is it the breaking ball away and you'll just watch it? Yeah, it's going to be the sidearm breaking ball backdoor, and you'll be bailing. Even if you swing, your caboose is not going to be part of it.
Got to imagine it's almost worse than wearing one, as long as it hits the right spot. Up there thinking about it and then seeing 3 straight curveballs. On 1-2. Another to get him. And this 5th inning comes to a close. Back-to-back Ks for Hill and a 2-1 game as we march to the 6th.
incredibly superstitious, but is still a little shy about talking about postseason rosters because they're not quite there yet. However, he does have some decisions to make when it comes to left-handers. Alex Wood here in Arizona pitched a simulated game today against some Dodgers hitters after the main BP was over on the big field here. He said that he's going to likely be activated after this series, before the San Francisco Giants series, through 20 pitches to 3 different hitters. Certainly going to be coming out of the bullpen as a lefty specialist, guys.
All right, Alana. Yes, Monty Grandal leads off this inning against Archie Bradley and swings and misses.
Alex Wood has a lot of funk in his delivery. He's got some good breaking stuff, change-ups, and he is not afraid. And he has pitched out of the bullpen before. So it's not a far cry to think about him as a possible piece if he comes back and shows that he can be effective.
Grandal 1 for 2, a single and a flyout. Bradley ahead of him 0-2. And finishes him off, or did he get a piece? So he just nicked that breaking ball to stay alive. And he got him with a breaking ball that bounces in front of the plate. 1 out. Dodger fans, do you know a standout high school senior athlete? Then nominate them for a chance to be named the Time Warner Cable Sports Championship Drive Scholar Athlete and receive a $2,500 college scholarship. Go to twcschamp.com now for more information. Archie Bradley now with 7 Ks. And Josh Reddick climbs in with 1 gone in the 6th. In the air to left. Kyle Jensen coming on and making the play. So Bradley, who made his debut against the Dodgers back in April of last year and beat Clayton Kershaw for his first major league win. Now trying to beat the Dodgers again, trying to extend the Diamondbacks winning streak to 4. Andre Ethier, his first base hit of the year, his last time up.
When I think postseason, when I think Dodgers in the future and trying to go all the way to the end, these are the only parts of the year that scare me. These funks that we get in, these 3- and 4-game funks with our offense. Because if this happens in a short series, you're out. You know, we've gone a 0, a 2 spot, and now a 1 spot here in the last 3 games. And you just really want to get to a point where you're real consistent. And as Nomar has always preached, figure out a way, parts of your lineup to make sure you can get 1 run. That when you set the table, you figure out a way to get that 1. It's not about scoring 10 or 12. It's about knowing how to produce a run.
Slicing fly ball to Jensen finishes off a 1-2-3 6th inning. The Dodgers still trail 2-1. LA is brought to you by Nissan. Choose Nissan today for great offers on our most exciting lineup ever. Shop ChooseNissan.com. And by BJ's Restaurant and Brew House. Stop by today and make every moment count. Rich Hill out there for the 6th inning. He's allowed 2 runs on 3 hits, but only 1 run in support. As Gene Segura takes a strike. You may be looking at a battle for National League Comeback Player of the Year, although I don't know where Hill would qualify, American League or National League. But between these 2 guys, both candidates in that regard. 0-2 on Segura, who is 0 for 2 today. Hill went 6 years between major league starts. Segura was one of the worst hitters in baseball the last few years. Hill now has the best ERA in baseball. Segura now leads the National League in hits. The former Milwaukee Brewers starting the 6th inning. 2-2.
It's Rich Hill's 4th start as a Dodger. It's the most variety we've seen as far as breaking balls, deliveries over the top, all the different angles. That tells me that he has a lot of confidence in those blisters. Rarely would go to the sidearm breaking ball in the first start. Went to it a little bit more in the second. Saw more fastballs. You see him just doing a wide variety of things out there. And it just tells me, I think his hand is feeling less hot spots and he's feeling more and more confident that it's going to stay healed.
I know what you're saying, because obviously the different release points puts different pressures on your fingers and your hand when you are releasing it. I also wonder if we see a little bit more variety, because you also are pitching in a place like Arizona too, where you rely on different breaks because you know it doesn't break quite as much. Like we said, it's similar to Colorado in the hitter's ballpark. So I wonder if that also adds to the reason we see the variety. But with that, like you said, the confidence, because feeling like, okay, my blisters are okay, I can do that.
Yep. If you're dealing with a hand issue like with the blisters, you find an arm angle or something, a pitch that one doesn't hurt it, you stay with it.
Got ahead of him 0-2. It's now full. And he fouls off another.
Don't think twice when you see Rich Hill throw a 3-2 curveball with no out and nobody on. And you go, what's he doing that? Just attack. Well, he throws his curveball for a strike more often than his fastball. So it's by only a percentage point or 2, but it's a confident pitch for him.
And he walks Segura. So the leadoff man on against Hill here in the 6th. Sunday, September 25th is the final home day of the season, and it's the Fan Appreciation Day. Culminates with a weekend salute to Vince Scully. In addition to having a chance to win prizes throughout the game, the first 50,000 fans also receive a special commemorative edition of Dodger Insider dedicated to Vin's career. Go to Dodgers.com/LA Loves Vin. That is going to be a must-have edition of Dodger Insider, led by the great John Weissman. Chris Owings with a man at first and nobody out in the 6th. Swings away at a breaking ball. Cardinals have tied the Giants, getting 2 against Johnny Cueto after Pence hit a 2-run homer to start the scoring against Adam Wainwright. Strike 2 on Owings. A walk that Hill issued is a rare walk. It's his first of the game. Yeah, it puts his strikeout to walk ratio as a Dodger now at 27-3. And he strikes out Owens. His 8th of the game and the first out of the 6.
Well, the most impressive thing about that curveball is how much bite it has when it's thigh high. It's got great finish. He spins that ball. One of the ways you know somebody really can spin it is when it breaks, also when it's up.
Lewis Coleman getting ready, and as Goldschmidt comes up, he's 0 for 2 today with a strikeout and a ground out, and he takes ball 1. Dodgers have done a good job with Goldschmidt this year. 24 home runs in his career against LA. That's more than anybody else in baseball since his debut against the Dodgers. They're hitting below 240 against LA this season. Only 3 homers this year against the Dodgers. Guy that Tony La Russa has nicknamed Paul G. Goldschmidt. The G simply stands for great. 1-1. Tony La Russa gave a similar nickname to Albert Pujols. It was Albert P. Pujols. The P stood for perfect. Managing him with the Cardinals. And now leading the front office here in Arizona. Hills 1-1. Gets away from Grandal. The throw to second, not in time. And Segura moves into scoring position.
Grandal is going to be upset with himself. That's going to be going down as a pass ball because he knew he should have gloved that one. It was a good read by Segura to get to second base.
So the 92nd pitch for Rich Hill coming here. The most in his time with the Dodgers. It's 3-1 on Goldschmidt. Hasn't thrown 100 pitches since July 7th. And that's the only time that he's thrown 100 since May. You hold your breath here. Line to left, base hit. Off one bounce, Ethier's got it. Segura heads for the plate. Turner cuts it off. 3-1 Arizona.
Paul Goldschmidt's taken an awful lot of fastballs from Rich Hill. And he just waited for that breaking ball. He looked like he'd been waiting all night for it. I've seen him in hitters counts take fastballs on the outer half, the inner half. That looked like all night I've been waiting for a breaking ball, and he got one in an RBI situation.
He does such a good job keeping his weight back so he can get enough to drive that ball.
Knocks in his 84th run of the season and knocks Rich Hill out of the game. Lewis Coleman comes in. 3-1 in the 6th. In the second, the third, and the sixth, and the man at first is responsibility, and during the break visibly frustrated after leaving.
A couple of great left-handers right now on the Dodgers, and they both have the same kind of personality when it comes to competition.
Yeah.
And you know what? You absolutely love it. They do not like to be disappointed in themselves or be disappointed by the outcome. I absolutely love it. You want to play with those guys, and you want them on your team.
Tomas stands in against Lewis Coleman. Replaces Hill with one out here in the sixth. Slider that Tomas can't lay off of. 0-1.
Diamondback lineup has gotten used to hitting a lot of left-handed breaking balls. Well, now they're going to get slider man out there on the mound. Lewis Coleman will make you hit the right-handed breaking ball from the land down under.
Got him again with a slider. Plate discipline not Tomas's strength. 29 homers this year, though. That leads the club. He's number 2 in the National League in home runs for the last 2 months. Some unlikely names at the top of that leaderboard. Jed Jerko and Yasmani Tomas. Coleman throwing another slider. This one Tomas watches.
And about 10-foot arm angles coming out of the Dodger hands today, with Rich Hill dropping down from the first base side, Lewis Coleman dropping down from the third base side.
Fouled off of Grandal. Tomas out of Cuba. Defected 2 years ago. Didn't tell his family that he was leaving until an hour before he left. More people that know, the less chance you have that it's going to work. He waited until the last moment to say his goodbyes to his family. Waits on this 1-2 from Coleman. And lifts one to deep left. Ethier back to the edge of the track, pulls it in. And tagging from first is Goldschmidt. He'll take second. Underrated for his speed and base running.
Well, Paul Goldschmidt on the year has 26 stolen bases, and he does a great job here. Not easy to be able to tag on a ball hit to left field, and Andre did everything right getting behind it. He recognizes that Paul Goldschmidt is tagging up on the ball. And Paul Goldschmidt has everything in front of him and is able to avoid the tag with a nice slide.
What a slide.
Yeah.
To have the strength and no, I'm going to go to that side. The ball of his foot and his toes kept him on the bag. He went to that inside part of the bag on purpose after he read that throw.
2 outs, and it's Brandon Drury. Struck out both times against Hill. And behind Coleman, 0-1. Been a good rookie season for Drury, but the Dodgers have shut him down. He's 4 for 32 against LA. Coleman's 0-1. Another slider, this one outside.
That looked like a strike to me, that last pitch. That was right there. You think about from Lewis's arm angle, it had to cross the plate.
Drury shoots it to right. Off a bounce, Reddick tees it up, fires it home, wide of the plate. Goldschmidt scores. Throw back to first, won't get it. Drury with a 2-out RBI single. The Diamondbacks lead 4-1. run does not score without Goldschmidt's aggressive base running on the previous fly ball.
You know, the 0-1 slider that got squeezed could have been an 0-2 count. Then you don't leave this ball trying to attack right here. You know, Yasmani's got a shot to backdoor and first, just gets the throw a little wide. Chase Utley did a nice job rescuing that one from going into right field. You're so right, Joe. The aggressive, smart base running from Goldschmidt set that run up.
And really the difference in this game is capitalizing on the opportunities. The Dodgers had plenty of chances to put some runs on the board. They put up one. We talk about how big 2-out RBIs are all the time, and so far the Diamondbacks have been able to do that.
Ball one on Jensen. Homered his first time. Jensen was a Dodger farmhand last year. Spent last year with Oklahoma City and had a good year. He was released at the end of the year and had a great year for the Diamondbacks AAA squad this season. Hit 30 home runs and drove in 120 in a 144 game season. 120 RBIs in 144 games. That earned him his major league debut on September 3rd. Already a couple of home runs, both long home runs. Pops the mitt with a fastball, 2-1. Slider gets by. Drury takes second.
That's a little residue from the slider left over the middle of the plate that cost him on the base hit and the run. So he's going to make sure he gets it out there instead of leaving it over the middle of the plate and just kind of pulled it over in the left-hand batter's box.
To Jensen. Swing and a miss on a backup slider. 3-2. And he walked him.
Center fielder,
J.P. Howell on the left, Josh Fields on the right. 2 on and 2 out. Coleman to face Mitch Haniger.
14 pitches for Lewis Coleman. I got to believe this is his last hitter either way. I like to be very judicious with the pitch count now with such a full bullpen. Give you a chance to use everybody almost every day.
Down the left field line, and the Diamondbacks have broken it open.
I was so impressed with Rich Hill, his ability to throw his breaking ball in this environment consistently tonight. Did a nice job. There were times that the atmosphere had it where it hung. But this one right here for Lewis Coleman, it just spins and stays right there. Watch Yasmani go down and away, drop a knee, hoping it breaks, but it doesn't break at all. The only thing it broke was Lewis Coleman's heart.
We talked about it coming into this game. You're facing an Arizona team that has been hot over the last 3 games. They go into Colorado and they scored 34 runs in that series. They scored 11 or more runs in each of the 3 games. And you can say, yeah, it's Colorado Hitters Ballpark. That is true. But the same could be said about this ballpark as well. So they are seeing it. They are squaring it up. They've been very clutch so far in this game.
1-0 to Tuffy Gosuish. And there for a strike, 1-1. You're talking about the two ballparks, Colorado and Arizona. The two teams in their 19 games this year combined for 265 runs. That's the most in a 3-game or in a season series between teams since 1969. Any teams in any season. Two one. Gosuish takes outside, 3-1. Talking to Omar about how hot this Arizona offense was coming in. This is the third consecutive game they've had a 5-run inning.
If you replay the hits they've had today, they're mostly thigh high and above. They've really capitalized on some pitchers' mistakes.
And that is another walk from Coleman. Single walk, homer, walk. And 9 men have come to the plate in this inning for Arizona. Diamondbacks trying to win 4 in a row at home for the first time in more than 2 years. They haven't won 4 in a row at Chase Field since July of 2014. Swept the Rockies. Leading the Dodgers 7-1 in the 6th. 0-2. Bradley choking up with a 2-strike count, getting a piece of it. Archie Bradley is ready to pitch into the 7th for Arizona. This is a guy that since the beginning of August has an ERA above 7 and overall has an ERA above 5. But he's been able to wiggle out of a few jams tonight. The Dodgers going 0 of 6 with men in scoring position. 1-2. Almost into Oral Hershiser's glove. Did that wind up in here or next door?
Next door.
Bob Brenly just got it. Two and two on Bradley. And he finally gets him with a slider. The D-backs chase Hill from the game and then get to Lewis Coleman. It's a 5-run inning, and the Dodgers with a big hole to dig out of 7-1. Back up on the Cardinals. That game in the 4th inning. AJ Pagan with a base hit. Now in the 5th, and it's 4-2 San Francisco as they try to gain some ground on the Dodgers, who trail Archie Bradley and the Diamondbacks 7-1. Top of the 7th. Both teams have 6 hits, but the Dodgers hitless with men in scoring position, while Arizona's been able to cash in.
A couple of Dodger pitchers right there lamenting their outings.
Jock Peterson 0 for his last 10, going back to the start of the Yankees series. Take strike 1. And quickly 0-2.
The best seat in the house is the day after you pitch really well, get a W, your team wins, and you come out the next day for the next game and you're sitting on the bench with the fellas and just basking in the glory and pulling for your team the next day.
Peterson beats the shift. His first hit since the weekend in Miami, leads off this 7th.
The worst seat is the one where Rich Hill and Lewis Coleman are right now. You know you put your team in a hole, and Jock Peterson right now with that leadoff singles trying to pull him out of it, but it is so hard. I used to ask my teammates, you know, is it better for me to sit here and pull for you, or do you want the person that kind of ruined the game so far to just get up there and shower and get out of the way? Because when they look at you, it's almost like there's an elephant in the room, you know?
Yeah.
They're trying to say, hey, let's go. We can get back, you know, we can come back from this.
Andrew Toles with a pinch hit single to left. Peterson read it well, advances to 3rd, and to 2nd goes Toles.
I'd say for right now, stay on the bench.
Yeah.
It's going good.
Right.
What'd you do, Nomar? What'd you like?
You know, it really didn't matter to me for the pitcher, because Andrew Toles did a good job staying on that ball to go the other way, that breaking ball. For me, you know, if you wanted to stay out and cheer us on, hey, I get it. I'm all for that. If you felt like, listen, I'm probably, you don't want to see me, I'm in. It didn't bother me either way. You know what I liked, though? I liked if a pitcher, sometimes if he went in, and if you say he got knocked out early, I understand you have to go ice, and you have to go, but then they came back out afterwards.
Yeah.
I like that, whether they were in the game winning or whether they came out of the game losing or put us in the hole, just coming back out after them taking care of, I like that.
And so the Dodgers find themselves with another opportunity here. Diamondbacks nearly perfect in these situations tonight. Dodgers still looking for their first hit with men in scoring position. D-backs yet to retire Utley, 2 singles and a walk, and scored the lone Dodger run. Trying to chip away in a ballpark where runs can come in bunches. Bradley's first one, way outside.
We talked about it when we've been down in Colorado, that funnier things happen there. You never give up in those games. Andrew Toles was part of a huge comeback there in Colorado when he hit that grand slam in the 9th.
This is the same deficit that they erased there. They were down 8-2. This one kicks away from Gosewich. Peterson will score. It's 7-2 as Toles advances to 3rd.
Well, you want to chip away. If they're going to hand it to you in a few ways after you set the table with some good hits, you take it. Anything that will continue to apply some pressure and make the lead shrink.
And Utley's ahead 2-0. See if he gets one to hammer from Bradley. Towards left center field. It's scalded on a line and it splits the gap. Utley's got an RBI double, and here they come. It's 7-3.
Utley has reached base for his 4th time in his 4th at bat. This is one of those where you talk about you're down, you come into this inning, you're down by 6. You're going, we just have to chip away. You just have to have quality at bat after quality at bat. We've seen 3 in a row so far from the Dodgers.
And that's going to do it. Archie Bradley dominant through 6. Dominant might not be the right word. Held him to a run. Limited damage through 6. But the Dodgers get to him here in the 7th. And the converted starter, Patrick Corbin, comes in. Still nobody out. Back in a moment. Weekend starting Friday the 23rd and running through the 25th. Final weekend of the home regular season schedule. Highlights including a pregame ceremony Friday with special guests and the commemorative coin giveaway on Saturday. Go to Dodgers.com/LA Loves Vin. Patrick Corbin moved into the bullpen in early August after he struggled mightily in the rotation. Numbers a little bit better out of the pen, but still has not really found himself. And he has to face the heart of this order. 2 runs in the bank. Utley at second. Still nobody out. And it's Corey Seager. Strike 1 and a fastball at 94 for a guy that once was an all-star as a starting pitcher. 2013. And he missed 2014. Tommy John surgery. Returned last year in July. Was fairly sharp. And struggling this year. 0-1. That's up. The count evens.
Starters that move into the bullpen. Yes, fresh start mentally, get a new change in roles, maybe feel better about yourself. The other thing is their arm and their stuff usually plays up. They come out with the adrenaline. They know they don't have to go 6, 7, 8 innings. So a little bit more effort per pitch.
Seager bounces one up the middle. It's stabbed by Segura and he throws him out. Heck of a play by Gene Segura. And we take a look at our Morongo Casino Resort and Spa slow-mo cam.
It looked like this ball was going to go up the middle, but it looked like it took a weird carom off the mound, the pitcher's mound, and it almost looked like it broke back towards Segura, which gave him a chance to get to this ball and make a fine play on Corey Seager. There's a better angle as we see it off the mound and the way it hopped, and it kind of kicked to the right towards Segura.
Baseball is cruel sometimes.
But I think this is an important run for the Dodgers, standing over there at third base, knocking them in. Can't leave Chase Utley out there if you're trying to come back in this game.
Turner gets under it. Short right. Probably not deep enough. Tomas under it. Utley tags and forces a throw, which is bouncing by Gosewich. Now Utley gets back to the bag. Corbin backs it up.
As you see Chase Utley go back, and he's just going, okay, I'm going to tag and force the throw to possibly get the overthrow, and he does. He gets one that goes past him. Just good job by Arizona and Patrick Corbin to be in the right spot to back him up. I was telling for the Dodgers, you know, you're trying to pick away at this lead, and you had a guy at second base. You'd already scored 2, and you're thinking second base with nobody else, got to find a way to at least put him in, get him in. Get 2 more innings or 2 more at bats, and if you can cut that lead down to 3, that is a whole different mentality and thought process going over the next couple of innings. So this would be huge for Adrian Gonzalez. Another opportunity with a man in scoring position and 2 outs.
Had 2 of those opportunities today and is 0 for 2 in them. 1-1. It would almost be like Arizona would take the momentum right back if that runner is stranded at third. Corbin's 1-1. 1-2.
With the lefty on a mound, Arizona doesn't play the full shift with Adrian, knowing that he's going to be waiting. They'll almost play a deep defense, but pretty traditional.
Going away. Gonzalez smacks one to third, picked off by Drury, and he throws him out. Dodgers get 2, but only 2, and after 6.5, 7-3 Arizona.
And tomorrow it falls on the shoulders, or really the arm, of Kenta Maeda. Time now for the Quicken Loans Rocket Arm. This is the probables for tomorrow. Kenta Maeda 14-9 and 3.28 ERA against former Dodger Zach Greinke. And guys, this is the way that the rotation looks for the Dodgers moving forward. Of course, we have Kenta Maeda tomorrow, but Norris get another turn in the starting rotation on Saturday. Jose De Leon will make his 3rd start, and then here we go again against San Francisco. Clayton Kershaw, Rich Hill, and Kenta Maeda will also be those 3 as they are aligned when we go to San Francisco in that order, barring anything crazy.
All right, Alana. Josh Raven comes into the game here for the Dodgers, his 6th appearance. One of the guys back up when rosters expanded. Had a few appearances in August, but now making his 3rd since coming back up, and as you see, hasn't given anything up yet.
Has not, and continues to progress, and it's all about command with him. The arm is big, the stuff is amazing. He's just not walking as many people as the thing that will be the finishing touch to make him a long-time big leaguer.
Top of the order, Gene Segura, strike one. Raven made his major league debut for the Dodgers last year, and during spring training, before he could even get going, suffered a broken arm in an automobile accident. He had to have surgery, so he started the season on the disabled list. Here's his 0-2. Segura tries to lay off and does. 1-2. Two stints on the big league roster this year, separated by a quick stop on the DL, some inflammation in his triceps. He strikes out Segura, who slams the bat down, and the bat pays the price for Segura's strikeout.
Just came up, climbed the ladder with a high fastball. He did a good job getting ahead of him. First pitch with a fastball on the outside corner. Then he throws a nice breaking ball for a strike. Now you kind of have the batter 0-2. He's protecting, knowing that you're going to cut, that you have that velocity, and you get it up there in his eyes. It's hard to lay off of.
Chris Owings. What do you guys think of the throwback uniforms the D-backs wear on every Thursday? I mean, throwback, it's all relative. It's only a few years back.
Yeah, it makes me feel old.
I know. Me too.
They're comfortable, I know that. The sleeveless, where you just wear your t-shirt underneath it.
That's what you typically wear to the gym, right? Sun's out, guns out.
Yeah, not me anymore. Maybe you two.
No.
I got sleeves on most of mine.
Why don't you guys tweet out a few pictures when you're going to the gym?
Some workout selfies.
Yeah.
I'll pass on that. Here's a 1-1. High fly ball. Center field, Jock Peterson. 2 up, 2 down for Josh Raven.
Don't hold your breath. I'm not tweeting out any pictures.
Raven now to face Goldschmidt, trying to work a 1-2-3-7.
I think it'd be huge if he can get a quick inning here, especially after the Dodgers just scored those 2 runs in the last inning. Get him back in there quickly. Try to keep that momentum on your side. Like I said, I thought that was a huge run that the Dodgers left out there. And I thought it was kind of a momentum shift for the Diamondbacks to be able to minimize the damage, especially with a man on second at the end there with no outs and not scoring them. So now the Dodgers try to get a little bit back, get a quick inning, and get back to swinging.
1-1, 97.
Josh has been filling the strike zone in this inning. He got 2 outs. He only thrown 9 pitches.
He faced 1 batter in his major league debut last year and got the win. You guys go so long before they get their first big league win. He needed 1 batter to get it. 2-2. He struck out DJ LeMahieu of the Rockies. He's trying to win a batting title now for Colorado. Trying to strike out Goldschmidt. 3-2.
The olden days, that would be called vulturing a win.
Grandal wants it inside against Goldschmidt. 3-2. Got it in there and got him at 97. Impressive stuff from Josh Raven to the top of the order. 1-2-3. Angeles Dodgers baseball and their postseason push is with the MLB.com @Bat app, the #1 app for live baseball, where you can enjoy game day, live highlights, StatCast info, news, and plenty more. Get MLB.com @Bat on your favorite devices now. Patrick Corbin for his second inning of work. Another lefty trying to stifle the Dodgers. Yasmani Grandal turns around, bats right-handed for the first time tonight, and takes ball one. Josh Reddick due next, but Kike Hernandez in the on-deck circle. 1-2. Two and two. Grandal, the first out of the 8th. And so here is Kike. I talked about it in New York earlier this week, but Hernandez, by every number in a slash line, average, on base percentage, and slugging, was the #1 hitter in baseball last year against left-handers. Not been the case this year, and he's not the only guy that's regressed statistically against left-handed pitching. I'd love for him to recapture some of that from last year down the stretch. On 1-0, he bounces one right at Segura. 2 gone.
And I think down the stretch, what you see here, what the Diamondbacks are doing, and I think every other team, when the Dodgers are playing here, when you're going to go to your bullpen, they're going to be bringing in a lefty.
It's Puig now.
You were talking about Patrick Corbin, how he was in the starter, went to the bullpen, and kind of early August with the struggles, and he still seemed to be struggling in the bullpen. But despite the struggles, Chip Hale has no problem bringing him in when you see the struggles that the Dodgers have against lefties.
Puig has hit 3 home runs since coming back from AAA at the start of September. That included the first pinch hit home run of his career in New York earlier this week. On 1-0, he strokes it foul, 1-1. Corbin's 1-1 pitch, and Puig tries to lay off and does. It's a big call there. 2-1. Two and two. Pulled the string. Got him over the inside corner. Dodgers down in order in the 8th. Corbin dominant in relief tonight. Still 7-3. Last inning, stay in to play defense here. That's Keegan left. That's Puig right. That's Raven back to the mound after a 1-2-3 7th inning. Trying to remain perfect this year. And Yasmani Tomas with the middle third of the order. His 4th trip up tonight. His 3rd time leading off an inning. His 1st time striking a ball like this. Puig runs it down in front of the wall. And that is our Arco top-tier play, fresh into the game, making a nice catch.
And you just get into the game, and then you have to get a ball, and you have to go a long way and also avoid your center fielder, Yasiel Puig, staying with it with the warning track. He makes it look easy, but that was not an easy play.
One of the hardest things to do is to be a defensive replacement in the infield. The second hardest is in the outfield, just to get in the rhythm of the game right away.
To strike on Drury. That was one of the things on the list of things that, and obviously it was more than the numbers that got Puig sent back to AAA. One of the things was his ability to be ready when the team called on him off of the bench, whether that was for a pinch hit opportunity or defensively. And we've seen multiple times this week him prepare differently for those opportunities. In front of the pinch hit homer in New York, where he went down and took extra hacks to get ready. And whatever he did to get loose to run that ball down worked.
Nothing but praise from all the people on the team, the management, and what we see from Yasiel. He has really turned the corner. And everybody is very happy for him and glad that he would accept the role, and it might earn himself back into a starting position.
Ravens got it. Taking a base hit away from Drury. Five up and 5 down for Josh Raven.
Kind of a look what I found right here. You catch it, and it catch you. And once you got it, you've got plenty of time. Adrian Gonzalez gets a 97-mile-an-hour fastball at the knees. Sometimes these guys that throw over 95, they have trouble throwing to bases or to home. Or
really soft. I think we saw that yesterday in New York.
Yep.
When you had Betances had to throw that ball home, it was like, okay, I'm really close, and I only know one speed, and that's 98.
Exactly.
If I throw 98, you have no chance, and I'll kill my teammate.
6'7", 260, and he threw it so daintily.
They just don't have that gear. They're not 4-speed. They got 1 speed.
Kyle Jensen's home run was the first blemish on Rich Hill's Dodger line. And Raven strikes him out. 3 Ks for Raven over 2 perfect innings. And we go to the 9th. Dodgers down 7-3. LA is brought to you by BMW. See a Southern California BMW Center today for exceptional offers or visit SoCalBMW.com. And by Carl's Jr. introducing the Bacon Three-Way Burger only at Carl's Jr. Socrates Oral Brito checks into the game defensively and left. And Patrick Corbin stays in. He's retired all 6 men that he's faced. He'll face Rob Seguin, pinch hitting to lead off this 9th inning with the Dodgers needing a bunch. Dodgers had something going when Corbin came in. They had already scored 2. Utley had doubled to score the 2nd run in that inning. Seguin down quickly. Picked up by Gosuich. She'll throw him out. But the Dodgers have cut it to 7-3. Utley was at 2nd. Still nobody out. It looked like they, at the very least, would get back to within 3. But Corbin came on and sat 2, 3, and 4 in the order down. And has retired now all 7 that he's faced. There's Zach Greinke, who will start tomorrow's game, as Alana told you, against Kenta Maeda. Howie Kendrick bats with 1 out. Strike 1. Norris and Shelby Miller on Saturday, then Jose De Leon, Robbie Ray on Sunday. And of course sets things up as Alana also told you, but for Kershaw, Hill, and Maeda against the Giants. Corbin running right through the Dodgers. And they're down to their final bullet just like that.
We were talking about him struggling this year as a starter, going to the bullpen. He looks pretty good today.
What a day for Chase Utley. He's reached all 4 times with 3 hits and a walk. He scored 1 of the runs, knocked in another. And Corbin pours in a strike. Giants still lead the Cardinals 4-2. That game in the bottom of the 7th. If both scores hold, the lead would be 4 with 16 remaining. 1-1. Dodgers have been in first place in their history 36 times on this date and have ended the season in first place in all but 8 of those seasons. So it's not unprecedented to see a lead like this disappear, but you feel good about the Dodgers' chances no matter what happens tonight. 2-2. 3 more left with Arizona, then the big series with the Giants starting on Monday.
We'd like at least a 3-game lead going into that Giants series. You get 5 right now, looking like it might go to 4.
Utley hits it hard, but Segura's waiting on it. And the Diamondbacks take the opener 7-3. Arizona's won 4 in a row at Chase Field for the first time in more than 2 years.
There was a chance to shut down a hot offense with a very hot pitcher in Rich Hill, and it just didn't come true tonight. They're going to have to get back on the beam tomorrow.
It really is one of those where you really just have to turn the page. You go out there, they've been saying all along, we've said it so many times, it's about winning the series. We still have an opportunity to win the series, come back tomorrow, a different attitude, and get to swinging.
Time now for the Lexus play of the game. It was Haniger's home run off Lewis Coleman, second of his career. in his month in the majors. The Dodgers drop the series opener to Arizona. Kenta Maeda, Zach Greinke tomorrow. That does it from Phoenix for now. For Orr Hershiser, Omar Garcia-Parra, and Alana Rizzo, Joe Davis saying so long and sending you to Access Sportsnet Dodgers, brought to you by your Southern California Nissan dealers.